Bobby to come, and then we'll get after it. I actually did okay yesterday. Hold on, let's get the filter by NBA. And I'm going to get my FanDuel lineups up as well. I'm not playing that many lineups today. So we're just going to probably just do a couple of pivots, and that's probably going to be all that I need to do. Guys, just let me know when you're around. And again, just so you guys know what I did, I did put an MMA video into the Discord channel. If you guys are interested in that, I think it is a difficult card from a DFS perspective. You really need to have some MMA knowledge to get to be on good sides. Hey, what's up, Bobby?
What's up, man? I'm just really pissed off at I need Hideki and Matsuyama, Hideki and Morikawa to do something. I mean, separately, if either of them make the cut, I'll be happy. If Matsuyama just makes the cut, I'll be happy. If they both make the cut, I'll be thrilled, because they are literally the things holding me up from having a monster potential weekend.
Well, let's get it. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean, Morikawa can't. I mean, literally, what is he?
Wait, so I turned off all the golf after Answer Choke, so I haven't really been following it. So what do you need even?
We need even right now. It could be +1. They're both +1, 25% at +1 for +1 to hit. It's either going to be even or +1.
Okay.
They're both at +1 right now. It looked good to start the day. Nice little birdie for Morikawa birdied 2 of the first 3, and Matsuyama birdied the first, and they were 1 under and even, and now they're both 1 over.
Hideki's we got 10 more holes for Hideki, right?
9 more holes, yeah.
Oh, but that's fine. And what about Morikawa?
I don't know if it's fine, buddy. I don't know if it's fine, to be honest with you.
I don't know what I'm saying. Fine, then I don't have to uber sweat it right at this particular second. Whereas Morikawa, I think I have to put it up. I have to get it up on the screen.
I think that I'm actually more worried about Hideki, just for the simple fact that he's made 3 birdies in this tournament so far. That's it, and I think it's one of the lowest of anybody at +1 or better.
Well, I'll get both of it up here. If anybody has
because I literally have Homa and Burns together in 30% of my lineups, and
wow, that's sweet.
And I have Zalatoris in 25%, and he's in about half of those. Okay. He's at 3 under. I also have Taylor Gooch in 25%.
Nice.
And he's at 5 under. So there's some shots here. It's just it's frustrating because it was looking like a clean go through. I've got some lineups that are going to get through no matter what. I've got my worst players are my -1, and they're in the club, and my other guys are no worse than -5. So nice. I'm feeling good about those, or -4. Kapka's in the clubhouse at -4. But it's just really frustrating because I just need Hideki to just make this cut. I really do. He's not in as many of my between he and Morikawa, they're in almost half my lineups. But they're
okay. All right, he's on in 2.
Where is he on?
On the par 5. He shot 3. He's 4 feet from birdie. He has a 4-foot 10-inch putt for birdie.
Come on, this is what he's missed all tournament long.
He's missed his whole career. I mean,
on putts 4 through 10 feet, I think he's 1 for 9 in this tournament or something. It's just ridiculous. Make this birdie, man. This is the last par 5 he's got, and he just missed I think it was a 4-footer on the other one. Ugh, it's just frustrating, man. It's just frustrating. Golf sweats suck but you know what? The real sweats are on Friday and on Sunday. It's weird because you want the good first day, but the real sweats become on Friday. It's
yeah. You saw me. I blew an hour of work today just trying to get freaking Answer home those last 2 freaking holes.
I'm sorry, man. That was brutal. And honestly, I was gonna write, well, at least it's okay because even is what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
But now it definitely has a chance at being +1.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm really hoping for.
It's all good. If I'm not going to win, I want you to win. You know how it goes.
I appreciate that, man. I really do, and likewise, obviously. Did we just get a bogey for? Oh my goodness! Did he fall? No, I don't know.
Oh,
I got to look at my man.
Carlin? No, he's good.
He's still a well. He's not good, but he's one.
No, but nothing's happened. I'm on it. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Well, we need birdies from those guys. So we can get to some basketball. I've got actually.
Should we gossip a little bit? So wait. So Robert Byer is saying he's making a Big T comment. Let's see.
What did I say?
I think he says, "Yo, Bobby, I think Big T has a crush on you. Your name constantly comes out of his mouth." Really? He threw out some Bobby talk today.
Yeah. Also, I was watching and I just wrote congratulations. I'm just, Sheets. I'm not an asshole. I get very upset about things that I consider.
You're not right.
To be like certain things that I consider to be somewhat inhumane, and it was a high stress time in the world. But overall, me and Big T we were friends. Like I really got along with him. I love doing shows with him. We actually think more alike in basketball. I root for him. I really do. I just don't want him to win everything. I want to win. But
he's got to leave a couple of hashtag giblets for somebody else, right?
Yeah, seriously, give me some of them. I'll take them.
Don't be nice to that guy. He's a hater. I unfortunately, I'm just kind of nice to everybody. That's just the way.
I think he's talking about me being nice to him, but
I know that.
Yeah, I'm taking my little. I have my little. What is it? I haven't. This is just a regular vape for cigarette stuff to stop smoking as much, but I think it's worse. Anyway, that's a side note.
You smoke cigarettes? How do you smoke cigarettes?
I don't smoke cigarettes, but okay. I smoke too much weed, probably.
Okay. That's
during the quarantine. It was more of a quarantine thing. But this is a way of just just have a little regular nicotine thing while I'm doing my thing, and it's relaxing. I appreciate it, K9 Bronco. Nice to hear. Sheets, what are we doing with basketball? Because we got some real things to go through.
So you saw the funny bit of Philly news, right?
Yeah, I'm worried that he sits.
Yeah, so
we know what in day of downgrades mean.
Whoa, what is that?
Did we get something else here with Orlando? Because why is Mo Bamba showing up all of a sudden?
Really?
Ken Birch starting is an interesting thing. We'll go through so I'm just gonna really quickly rattle off the plays that I have prioritized today, and some are chalky, some are not, but just we'll get into all the other stuff. I think this is a good way to start.
Sure.
Jokic, Garland, Osman, Capella, Hernan Gomez, Zion, Chris Paul, Giannis, Morant, Siakam, Van Vliet, Bembry, Cat, Birch, and Jaden McDaniels, assuming he starts.
Ooh, Jaden McDaniels. Okay.
It's just for value on DraftKings. We have it's interesting. We have people think you might look at this slate and say we do have speculative value, but at the same time we also have good value. Well, we have good potential upside value. We have guys who played 37 minutes who are 31 and 3,300 outside of the center spot. Now, in all fairness, I'm playing one big lineup and then 10 of the 66 and all that stuff. And I will have Hernan Gomez in my main lineup on DraftKings, I think. But I don't think he'll be as much in my other ones. I'm going to try. There's just too many centers. Center is the thing to do in the utility spot. I also have a weird feeling that something might happen with the Bucks starting lineup, just based on the fact they've lost 5 in a row. So I think you could see a different shakeup there. I don't know what it would lean to unless it was DJ Augustine starting, which is
probably start Portis or something, or
something different. Maybe whatever it is. It's just that they've been struggling. I don't
know what kind of latitude they have. You know what I mean? I don't know what they could do.
Well, they could start DJ Augustine.
For what? I mean,
he can shoot and
do. I mean, and bench who? I mean,
DiVincenzo.
But he's been fine. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, just because he's been fine for fantasy purposes doesn't mean he's been fine in real life. Same with Connor, who could also jump in the starting lineup. It could go. I'm not saying this is just completely my own speculation. And even if it's not starting, I do expect them to shake up the way that they do their rotations a little bit, because they've been very clearly trying to figure it out on the fly. And they're trying to figure out this new stuff. But without Drew, honestly, Drew Holiday is making his freaking all-star or whatever case right now. Without Drew, they are lost. And
Go ahead.
having a point guard to run the offense along with Giannis might be a better decision than using these other semi point guards. You know what I mean? Like the DiVincenzo.
So I want to take a little time to answer MJV's question. I would prefer. I mean, like I want to do this at a time where we're not in crunch time, but I also think it's an important thing because he is asking sort of about process. He's asking if you want to quote unquote bump someone up. Do you just bump the minutes, or there's more to it than that? So you're gonna get me kind of going for like a while on this, but let's just you can cut me off whenever you feel like it. Couple of things with the term bump up, right? So you have like a set of projections out there that people that you start with, and they do a minutes assumption, and they do actually like a usage assumption too, right? I mean, usage assumption and also sort of an efficiency assumption, right? They presume that you're going to play a certain amount of minutes as a median, that you're going to get the ball a certain amount of time, and then when you get the ball, you're going to do something a certain amount of time. And if you have an opinion that impacts any of those factors, then you can upgrade it, right? So there are certain optimized and certain projection models that actually allow you to do that. In other words, that'll say, okay, I think everything is the same. I think, let's say that XYZ player is his usage is about right, everything's right, but for whatever reason, I think he's going to get like a couple of more minutes. You can actually just upgrade the minutes and put like an extra 1 or 2 minutes, and then like the projections will kind of just go like this, right? Another thing you could do is, if let's say you think that a matchup is particularly good for someone, you know what I mean? You think that maybe the projections are not taking into account the fact that, I don't know, let's just say like, okay, let's say Lillard is going against Drew Holiday, right? And we think that Drew Holiday is better at guarding Lillard than, for example, people think, right? What you could do, you could actually reduce his efficiency, sort of, or and keep the minutes the same and lower the projections that way. Or like you were saying, if Kawhi, PG are out, for example, yeah, I mean, you could, manually upgrade everybody's minutes, and then also if you have someone like that out, also their usage is going to be upgraded too. So it depends on what level you want to get involved with crunching numbers. I personally do not make like those projections really. So when something like that happens, I just kind of wait for like the projection models that I rely on to just kind of upload and upgrade. But there's something you can do, kind of like unofficial bumping. In other words, like, and Bobby and I do this all a lot. Bobby probably more than I do. He's like, listen, the projections say what, but I just think they're better than that. You know what I mean? Or they're worse than that. And he'll just kind of in his head say, where I otherwise might not have played this guy, screw it. I'm going to give him an extra 15% exposure or something like that. So even though we're not getting right into the crux of the building of the projection, you can still quote unquote bump someone kind of in your head, right? And by exposures, even if you don't exactly know how one guy being out ups the usage by this and the efficiency by that.
Right. Yeah, that's well put. I also do think that sometimes they're just wrong with the expected point per production. And I think an example would be like, okay, so Cat right now, given even his certain minutes, if you took this at any other time in Cat's career, literally over the last 5 years, he would be projected at the same minutes at 50 plus fantasy points.
Okay. The
same minutes. And he is playing, it seems almost a little bit more passive to me, but I'm absolutely willing to take that chance. That's a guy. I have 2 big lineups on FanDuel right now. He's one of my centers. I really believe that you can get advantage on. He's just the thing that's bothering me about him is he's simply not shooting the ball enough, and they're not running the offense through him like they usually do.
Right.
But the upside is hard to ignore. The ownership is hard to ignore, and I don't know that like. Yeah, there's a million great plays for center, but he's an example of it. Just a guy who I feel is misprojected. The weird part about Cat is, as much as he's coming off of injuries. He's been playing limited minutes because of it. He's had the COVID thing. He had his 7 family members. He's not all there, and yet he's still averaging 5 times what his projection is tonight. And this is the ceiling minutes game, you would think, based on what he's played so far. So that's a great example of a guy who I just feel like the projections are wrong with, and I think the minutes might be wrong too, but I don't think it's just the minutes. I think they're misprojecting his point per minute value.
So what Bobby's saying is they're under projecting is actually his efficiency, and his usage. Bobby's thinking that the projection models are expecting him not to either shoot as much, or when he does shoot, to not be as efficient as maybe historically he should be, or something like that. And
exactly.
Can I get right to the crux of it, MJV? Like, unless you're willing to make those kind of accommodations for projections being wrong, if you don't do that in some form, you run the risk of really being just like playing chalk every freaking position. Okay, like if you just like rely on on projections being accurate and correct every single time, you really put a lot of pressure on yourself to end up just playing chalk. And yes, there are ways to build lineups without screwing with the projections too, to give yourself a little edge, like maybe doing being different as far as your level of construction goes. And that's what Bobby's, I consider him elite at that. You know what I mean? Like playing really the same guys as other people play, but just in combinations that other people aren't playing. You know what I mean? And the other thing is that you don't have to, make such wild pivots to get decent GPP lineups. Again, this is that Bobby's really, really good at. It's just knowing which the one or two guys to just kind of just make your lineup different without even having to go too ballistic with it.
Right, and what's funny is that I was listening. I appreciate that. But what was happening? I was listening to Run Pure Sports show, and it struck the one thing Big T was saying was exactly what I've been saying the whole year. Like, if you don't play Toronto guys, what are you doing? Because the minutes are there, the upside is there. Somebody gets crushed, and I've said this every show basically. Somebody crushes every time, every single time. Now today's a little bit more obvious, and they're chalky, and there's now Lowry with a questionable tag. I don't see it why they would need to after the last game, but at the same time they're trying to win games, and there's a lot of things that could happen. It's just the game doesn't lock for a few hours. But in general, that is a team that you want to target because of the minutes, the tight rotation, and in fact, they play actually at a pretty fast pace, and they play to their opponent's tempo. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about some builds. I got to make some builds. I'll answer any questions.
That's I think must have made the birdie because he's even now.
He made the birdie, which is nice to see. Still won't get out of the woods on that one yet, but definitely feels
definitely not.
A few minutes before. He's got a long ways to go. I would take him being even in the clubhouse right now. Like, I've got him as a little, just a guy I need in every freaking lineup. All right. Anyway, let's get into to some of the other stuff. So, real quick, do you want to go through FanDuel top plays per position?
Well, before that, I do want to just you mentioned the top plays. I just want to just at least go through what I had on DraftKings first before we also go over there. Good. And it's mostly the same guys: Hernan Gomez, Bembry, Osman, Garland, Van Vliet / Siakam. I still don't know what to do with Temple. I think Giannis is the preferred spend up. And what you'll notice is that nothing I said is particularly earth shattering, right? So when I actually build, I'm gonna have to differentiate a little bit. The next guys on my list are guys maybe that are not going to be quite as owned, like maybe Delon Wright from Detroit. Maybe at center, maybe after all that, maybe Jared Allen ends up being on the lower owned side.
I love Jared Allen as a play. I'm honest, just to be completely honest, I don't know how to get there because you can
drop down from Capella or the other guys. I mean,
Capella, Valanciunas, and Gobert, I like better.
Well, okay. I mean,
that's my issue. No, but I really there's the upside there for Jared Allen. This is the kind of matchup that he could thrive in. I don't like centers in general against Jokic, but this is a different type of center matchup because the versatile active players do be Jokic's downfall.
Only because you asked, MJ. I use Basketball Monster, so I'm pulling up. This is Daily Roto, and this is one of the places I subscribe to, whatever. And what you could do, for example, here is like if you want to change any of these things, like it automatically, like if you want to give, for example, Jokic like another minute, like you see right now he has projected for 60 points, 72 points, something. If you want to give him another minute, it'll automatically do all the math and upgrade the points like that.
Yeah.
And I think most I don't know most but a lot of them do that. So and I wasn't around for the Basketball Monster days. I remember Bobby saying that he was he used Basketball Monster or whatever. Yeah. So Robert Byer saying Simmons will be out. There's your edge.
I mean, with the midday downgrades, it does seem like a pretty strong signal. I don't know entirely that it. So Tobias is 7,900, right, on DraftKings, or is that FanDuel? Let me just make sure. Yeah, 79. It's a good matchup. Is he better than Siakam? I don't think so. I know he's put up some monster games in a row, and he's looked really good with the rebounding, especially. I do like him, but is he better than? And that's assuming that happens. Is he better than Siakam? Is he better than a cheaper?
I'm sorry. Who are we talking about again?
We're talking about if Tobias Harris, for example.
Oh, Tobias Harris. Okay, sorry.
And then at the same time, we could talk about Joel Embiid, who's the obvious one. Look, Embiid is a great play. There's a lot of great center plays, even without this. I do expect him to smash here. I don't know that the 10-7 smashing of Embiid for 60 points is enough when Jokic will accidentally get 60 points, probably. And you've got Giannis in the same price range.
Yeah.
I expect to have 60 plus as well. And then you get into the Gobert Capella situation where they could get 50 and they are significantly cheaper and make the rest of your lineups make a lot more sense. So it's a tough situation. And I mean, or Valanciunas or Allen, any of these guys, there's a lot. DeAndre Ayton could put up 50 in this kind of a match, especially that Steven Adams. And then we have the obvious Hernan Gomez.
The other thing is on the margin, if Simmons is out, it makes I guess Levine a little bit better play for Chicago.
Yes, but I do like Levine anyway.
Yeah. Number one, the game will be closer. Number two, you got an elite defender off the court. So,
I 100% agree with that.
And the other thing, again, I mentioned this earlier. Let's just just keep an eye on the starting lineup for Chicago. I'm sure it's fine, but I don't know.
So I'm gonna just make the opposite of what I normally do. I usually go through all my builds and then change my favorite lineup last. I'm gonna do it first here because the guys I just want to talk through it because the guys that I really like Capella. I really like a lot of guys, but I feel like I'm sort of siding a little bit with him. I'm a little bit less on the Boston guys than I was initially to start the day. So that kind of takes away a little bit of my, what I was going to do as my run back. But what happens if we play Capella? If we play Bembry?
Yeah, we got this already.
If we play all of these Toronto guys, Bembry, Van Vliet, Siakam, whether you want to put Norman Powell in there, if we play all those guys, and you could play them all in the same lineup, there's no problem with that against Minnesota.
Yeah, I got you.
The problem is you should probably look for a run back at that point. And I like Anthony Edwards. I don't know that he's a much, much better play, but what if we throw Jaden McDaniels in as well? Then you can sort of pick and choose and do whatever you want with your lineup. Now, I really like Darius Garland tonight, but at the same time, I love Ja Morant. And I know they're different prices. But that's one thing I'm gonna.
You want a run back that you kind of mentioned really, really quickly earlier. What about Rubio?
I'm using him on FanDuel.
6,200 is too much on DraftKings.
Ben Simmons is out.
He is out.
He's officially out, which is going to lead to. So let's wait a few minutes for the projections to update. But I do think that. Obviously, Philly is different Philly than they were a few minutes ago, I guess.
Yep.
But are you playing Embiid over Jokic is my question to you all.
I wasn't going to play either of them. That's
or Embiid over Giannis.
That's the thing. That's the Giannis thing is that's where it's kind of hard for me to fade him right now.
Mm-hmm.
You got me all nervous. Not nervous, but you reminded me they really haven't blown anybody out in a while, and they need to win, and they just lost yesterday. I mean, he's gonna get after it.
Yeah, he definitely is, and it's interesting because there's nobody I love paying up for at point guard, like all the way. So maybe what I'm going to do, instead of playing the Ja, well, actually, I love Ja and Chris Paul. But maybe I don't need Jaden McDaniels anymore. I just feel like it feels weird because I feel like Jaden McDaniels and Bembry are similar type of plays. I think McDaniels is a little better, actually, if he starts. We don't know if he's starting. We should assume he starts because they won last night. But that's something I'm looking at. I don't know. I'm actually flirting with using Cat in my main lineup because I like Toronto so much tonight. And I think this Cat, we got a little bit of the Cat game in the overtime last time. I think the real, this guy he can easily outscore everyone above him at the center position. Like it's not a reach for him to do that. That's almost what I damn near expected him. So, and it puts me in a spot where I like my lineups a lot better. If I play like Siakam, Van Vliet, and Bembry together, if I play Towns and you run it back with Towns and Jaden McDaniels, I sort of like what I'm doing.
I'd like to. I mean, for me, to answer your question about Chris Paul or Morant, I mean, for me, I prefer Morant.
Mm-hmm.
Since the person asked.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the fact that you like Chris Paul is making me really like him.
I do like Chris Paul, but I like Morant. But I like Morant a little better.
Well, I guess I have to ask you, like, how much of your like for Chris Paul comes from the fact that he's going back to New Orleans, and how much just from the general? I guess you don't know for sure, but how much of the general matchup?
Coming off an impossible loss, going back to his old team, his old city, it just makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
It's also a premium matchup in a game that they're not going to be allowed to play very slowly. Now, Chris Paul, if the game has to stay kind of close. Like Chris Paul, what you want is that fourth quarter explosion that puts him up in the 50s and maybe higher. I actually think Ja is just more likely just to get there, So I do prioritize Ja a little bit. I'm about 100 off of where I want to be on. I'm literally 100 off of where I want to be for what I would consider my preferred lineup right now. We do have D'Anthony Melton and Bane back now, so that should actually give some more. And first of all, it's going to make Ja a little bit lower owned, but also you get. It does give him for good reason, I guess I should say. I think you have a real argument now with the Chris Paul. It's really close. I don't exactly know how to answer that. I think that Ja is the better play in general, but I think Chris Paul tonight specifically, it's really close.
What you don't like Booker?
I absolutely do like Booker. I just can't get to him. I'm not playing him.
I mean, it's an extra 200 over Paul.
Well, I guess I like.
You just like Paul more with you just like Paul better. Okay.
To answer that question, but I do like Booker. I mean, it's not like I don't know. It's tough. There's a lot of great plays out there. It's just about measuring which ones are the best plays. Guys, ask some questions. I'm going to answer questions for 5 minutes, and then I've got to go build some lineups. I mean,
we got to see who's starting again for Philly.
Draymond is supposedly playing. We need the Philly starting lineup. I use RG right now with Kawhi and PG. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. I think that game is a better stay away. I hate that I feel that way, but with all the question marks and so many other good plays, like even if Kawhi goes off at 9,800, he goes off for 60. You're
Right.
fine. You know, there's
Yeah.
other guys. We just named Towns can get 60. There's other guys who are cheaper than him that can get that. I don't know. It's too thin for me on this big slate. On a small slate, I'd absolutely be speculating. I do like Kemba still, yes. But I like him better on FanDuel. But yes, he's still a good play on DK to answer that question. Overthinking Embiid versus Chicago. No, Embiid is a great play. It's not about a great play. There's too many great plays. Like, that's really all it is. There's a lot of great plays. Try and make yours correlate and make some sense. That's the best.
The other thing that you mentioned, by the way, I forget what it was for today's slate or yesterday's. You said you wanted to keep an eye on the national TV stuff, and I think that's the Embiid's game is the national TV game. I think.
Yeah. Also, so we got Danny Green questions. So Danny Green on a small slate without Embiid is different. He is cheap. Without Simmons. He doesn't really get a boost. Like, if you look at his games, the game Simmons came, he had 2 games where no Embiid and no Simmons, and he put up like 12 fantasy points and like 13 fantasy points. And then Simmons comes back and he put up 62. Like, I don't know that I don't know that Danny Green is a play that's going to win you tournaments tonight. Look, anybody can get hot at any time and he's cheap. There's no logical reason why.
You know, by the way, I mean, I'm just saying that the other day Simmons was out, same thing, and Tyrese Maxey was 50% owned.
No, and he's not going to be today. I get it.
Yeah.
There's also other value too.
There is.
And there probably will be more.
Let me see.
Not interesting there. Who was yelling at me for a shame? Robert Byer. Do I like Beasley? Dude, Robert Byer. Like, look, dude, we're going to try and answer questions, but you can't, like, ask a question and expect 10 seconds and go by, and then you get pissed off about us not answering. We'll try. We're going to try.
He's pissed off. What's the matter? He's all right? I'm not watching the chat right now.
He said he's just, they're getting into like an argument because he's asking questions, you're not answering them. And you ask, look, do I like Beasley? Fine. I like Beasley. Fine. I don't think he's a guy you want to try and seek out. I think he's absolutely has a chance at hitting a ceiling game, but I don't think that he's a guy I'm trying to prioritize at all. All right. Curry with Simmons out. Oh, Seth. Yeah. So Seth, I do like anyway. And especially if they run him like they did last time out. But I do like Seth, yes. Do I like him better than other guys in his price range on DK? Like, I'd rather try and get up to Garland. I mean, I know it's a different position, kind of.
Hey, the person was asking me about Beasley, same guy, whatever. What I'm interested in, I got to do a little more homework on this. What's the deal? Is Beasley the one who is like on like work release or something like that?
What do you mean?
There's something with Beasley or something that once either the season's over or something soon, he's like going to go back to jail or something like that.
It's possible.
Okay, but that's not something that's in the offing right now, right? Okay, it's not like his last game pre-jail or something like that.
So the games that Beasley would have got us there, you know, and this is without Cat, he did have a 50-something point game once. Okay. But even without all these guys, Beasley put up 45 and 43 in 2 of his last 4. In those games, he shot 7 of 13 from 3 and 5 of 13 from 3. He took 25 and 21 shots.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that one of those games was in overtime, which he was at 35, I think, before. Beasley is not a play I would be trying to get in on DraftKings tonight.
Okay.
I think there's an upside, but I would rather play Anthony Edwards personally at a cheaper price tag. I don't. Go ahead, Chiefs.
No, I was going to say if anybody got any Philly starting lineups, is it going to start Thibault again? You think?
I mean, they did the other night. I guess that they probably could. He would definitely be in play. We'll probably get that information pretty soon. JaMychal Green's in, which we expected. Chance on Korkmaz. Look, Korkmaz, you could take a chance, and you could take a chance on definitely on our guy Maxey.
My instinct is the slate's too big for these guys.
I kind of feel the same way a little bit. No, so I would just say that Forbes and Pat Connaughton, I do have a little bit of them. I don't think that they are the right plays in this slate. There's better value. Sure, they could get there and have their games, but like we just saw Pat Connaughton play 30 minutes and score 14 fantasy points.
Hey, convince me that I don't want to say convince me, but talk to me about DeAndre Bembry a little bit.
So Bembry is active enough. He played 37 minutes yesterday.
I know. Is that good?
That's enough for me. He's 3,100. It's not like he's like, yes, he's better than the other guys. And this is also a premium. Like, don't forget, this is Minnesota.
Right.
Usually has 50-point upsides. Yeah, of course he does. So do I can name 50 other guys who have a 50-point upside. I didn't check myself. What do you mean? Play Beasley if you want to. You can't ask me if I like Beasley, then get pissed off that I don't like Beasley that much. He's fine. He's absolutely could have a game here. There's no way on this slate you're going to tell me that he's like somehow just like a lock play or something. That's ridiculous. There's a million.
I prefer if we're going to play this since he's asking, if we're going to play this Minnesota stuff, I just think it's just the better play is just to play Towns.
I kind of agree.
It's just to play Towns, and then and tell me about this other guy that you brought up a couple of times, the McDaniel.
If he starts again, he played a million minutes the last game. I actually think he's okay. I don't think he's bad, and I think they can play him alongside Cat easier than even Vanderbilt. So for that reason, I have mild interest in McDaniel. Not mild. I have some interest in McDaniels. Also, he's 3,300. I mean, it's hard not to just like completely overlook him here. I'm going to take a quick look at what's going on in the golf, and then I'm going to come back to this. Let's see. +1 is climbing. I got oh God. Morikawa is still at +1. Come on, man, get a birdie. Just make it easy for me. How about one more from my other guy? All right, let's jump back to basketball. I got to edit some lineups, so Sheets, if you have anything, I'm just going to try and get these straight. I am still playing. I do like Chris Paul still. To that last question.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier.
I'm gonna go back. Sorry guys, I've just been uploading. I've just been changing some stuff. I'm gonna go into we got let me see some questions in here. Let me see what we have. McDaniels played the extra minutes because of Beasley showing up. That's interesting. McDaniels played the extra minutes because Beasley showed up late for team meetings.
He has to get the start though. You know?
Okay.
Like Beasley played the overtime, so did McDaniels. So I don't know how that worked exactly because they both played the overtime the other night.
I have best mid to cheap small forward on FanDuel. All right, that seems easy. That seems Michael Porter Jr. without me even pulling up the sheet.
I don't know if I love Michael Porter Jr. personally.
Why? What happened?
He's okay. They don't like him. I told you that. I've said this a million times. Like they just don't like him. But again, on FanDuel, he makes perfect sense. On FanDuel, the obvious play for me at small forward is Chetty. I probably have a little bit of an unhealthy amount of McDaniels because I do believe in this if he does start. The problem is if he doesn't, and again, which he might not. I mean, they might bring Beasley still played all the minutes. The thing is, he still played all the minutes though, even after Beasley played too. It wasn't like it was one for the other.
Right. Well, let me look while you do some lineups. I'm gonna go through. It's not 100% updated yet, but I'm gonna go through where I'm at with FanDuel. Like now, I guess I'll go. You know, it's gonna list some positions. So, boy. At center is where I want to start because at center it looks like there's really two different ways you can go. Like you could either go all the way down to Hernan Gomez, or you could go all the way up to what used to be Jokic, but now it's either Jokic or Embiid, I guess. I I think I prefer Embiid right now over Jokic on FanDuel. Presuming that my ownership's right, you know what I mean. I'm presuming that Embiid would be significantly lower owned, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case now that Simmons is out. So I don't know. With power forward, JaMychal Green still looks like a good play. Giannis, really good spend up. Because I do have to change my. All right, so I mean, I'll show you guys, but I don't care what I'll show you guys. I'm looking at. Giannis is like really good. I like those. I like the two guys I have. I like Giannis and Jeremy Grant. I do. Especially if I'm going to have somebody from the other side of the Detroit game.
How about Khem Birch? What are we doing with Khem Birch?
I wasn't going to do anything, I don't think.
Starting.
Ugh.
He hasn't been starting.
He's been starting, hasn't he?
No.
No?
Not at all in this whole time. And they've had less players than they have now. That seems like and they're losing. It's a matter of does his first run go well? You know what I mean? That's really what you're playing the game of is does his first run go well? I do think just go ahead. I do think we need to get more Curry. Curry is the obvious one we need to get more of, but it's partly because we don't have the starting lineup yet. You know what I mean? Like I would like Philly's starting lineup, but I do like Curry now.
Point guard, I'm still on the same cheapies. Michael Carter-Williams and Garland. But again, you want more juice. If you could afford it, you go up to Kemba and John Morant. I don't know if I can get to Steph Curry today.
Okay.
I don't think I can get there. Well, if I'm going to play Giannis, right?
I mean, it's fair. It makes sense. Like it doesn't.
Small forward, cheap, right? Chetty. If Danny Green starts, right? 3,500. Middleton, Porter, same guy. And then if you want to pay all the way up for Pascal Siakam, same guys. Shooting guard, still the Torontos, Van Vliet and Powell.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sexton, I think.
Yeah, on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I got one more update I want to run before I finalize these things. Let's see.
I'm going to get a little bit of this Khem Birch thing in the first game just because I do think that there is upside for him. I think he's been like critically like he's been really good per minute all year long. And just no one's does anything with him. I don't mind if you want to take a shot on Thibault now over McDaniels if he's going to start. We have to. I mean, we would want him starting, and it's kind of a gross path for both of them, just to be completely honest. But I do think Thibault is definitely in play.
You know, the thing is though, is that Thibault started the other day when we had the same thing. I don't know if he did anything.
I mean, that's not what we should be going on necessarily. I mean, it's the Bulls, first of all. And, you know, you put up 20 fantasy points.
Oh,
like,
okay.
At 3,300, like.
That's true.
You know, not that that's great, you know, but the minutes are more what I'm interested in there.
No, I want more than this, so I have to do 5 lineups of this. Okay.
I'll look at some more questions because, like, we don't really have a ton of decisions. Like in the first game, if we want to talk about that, I guess we could talk about that. I think that it's not necessary to play anybody. It's where I'm currently at.
Right.
The first 2 games. But I do like the Denver-Cleveland one a little bit better. And Fournier's fine. Probably going to have a lot of ownership, but he's fine. I mean, it's not.
You think Fournier's going to get ownership?
Yeah. Vooch is fine, and I like Steph, but I just don't think on this slate that I'm going to end up getting there with Draymond in to everybody. I do like Jokic, obviously. I think you could play a Jokic Embiid center lineup and just get really weird. It doesn't sound that weird, but it actually will be lower owned than you think. And then nobody else is with Barton back. That's partly what my hesitancy is with Porter. But the thing is, like, Porter he goes off at random times, but to have him like as a chalky play just feels wrong. Like, he should never ever be owned here, and he won't be on DraftKings. So there's where you might be able to get a little bit of
Who, Porter?
Yeah. You're just talking. It just makes no sense. Like, it's the worst situation he's been in so far, and he hasn't succeeded in the other ones. You got 30. Okay. You know. Yeah. But I really do like Osman and Garland both. Those are the guys I'm having a hard time fading. And then I love Jared Allen. I just don't know if I'm going to get there. I think JaVale McGee as an interesting double center punt with Hernan Gomez is kind of interesting. But I actually think I like Birch better, but he's power forward eligible. And I think you want to play two centers. The weird center, the crazy play is, think Baines might start tonight instead of what Toronto did yesterday, just because they're facing Cat.
Okay.
I think that there's a chance that Baines at 3,300 gets there. So I wouldn't play Baines over Hernan Gomez, but I would play him alongside Hernan Gomez in one of the pay down spots.
Let's see what I have going on here. So I have Hernan Gomez, Embiid, little Vooch, little this, little that. Little Levine. Okay. All right. Now we just redo DraftKings a little bit.
I also think Chason Randall is completely in play.
I have no idea who that is.
So he's the other guard for like, he's in play. He's not as good of a play because we got Ennis now in and Fournier in. Maybe I will get off my Chason Randall love, but I do think that he actually
like Orlando.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm off of it a little bit, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I don't know if not the worst thing in the world is what we should be striving for.
I don't think that's probably the right idea.
Yeah, probably a good point here. So I'm focusing right now on editing my main first guys. The main ones for me are Osman and Garland. And
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. And then obviously you could play Jokic. God, every time I try to actually hand build, it's really hard for me not to put Hernan Gomez in.
What's that? Oh,
it's so hard. Like, it's hard to actually like click the buttons. I'm like, is that right?
Let's see. Let's do this. How about we do 1, 2, 3?
I'll take a quick look at questions because I'm not as heavy on the first game anyway, but I've got to go back to my FanDuel build in a minute. All right. Let's take a look at any questions in the chat. Do I like anyone from the Bulls? I like Levine. I think Carter is fine. It's just hard to find the center spots. Grayson Allen. I'm just not playing Grayson Allen on this slate. Any Evan Fournier? Yes, I do like Evan Fournier a little bit on DraftKings, but I think he's going to be pretty popular, is my guess. Seth and Danny Green. You can play Danny Green, guys. Everybody can play Danny Green. That's fine.
You're allowed?
You're allowed to play Danny Green, but
is that good?
A lot of Danny Green, I will not. His minutes are crazy. Like, it is crazy the number of minutes. I will play some of them, but I'm not going overloading it with like these other guys are going to do it. We've just seen this story so many times. All right. Danny Green.
You like Svi at all?
No.
Okay.
No, if I'm going to play Svi, I'm just going to play Dennis Smith Jr. and hope that things work out in my favor. I do like Josh Hart a little bit. I think Steven Adams being out sneakily opens up a bunch of rebounds for Josh Hart. And no one's going to play Josh Hart. And Josh Hart, in 3 of his last 8 games, has put up 46 or 43 or more. And he's 4,400. So maybe we should consider him. You get the nice little run back with Chris Paul, and you play Zion in there. Just feels like a nice little mini stack there. One guy who I like, but I'm not on as much, I'm not playing as much as I would like, is Middleton. He's looked terrible. I could care less. It doesn't mean anything to me. I just think that he's better than this. I have no like.
Well, it can't be worse.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's literally like the worst basketball he's ever played in his life. And but yeah, if I was going to run back some of the Chicago stuff, I think that I actually think that even on FanDuel, I like a little bit of Kobe White. Sheets mentioned earlier that it wouldn't be shocking to see Satoransky enter the starting lineup. That would actually make me like Kobe White a lot more. Any extra minutes to get without Levine and White on the court is a huge boost to both of them. Satoransky in the starting lineup boosts Levine up too, to me, hugely. Boy, I've got so many of these Toronto, Minnesota stacks. It's actually kind of crazy.
I can't believe I don't have any Valanciunas. I don't have that many lineups. Doesn't make a difference. It's fine.
It's weird because I like it too, Sheets, but like it's so hard to justify over these other guys. Like I actually like the play, but do you know who's interesting? This is a really long shot play, and it's only if you're playing in the big one and all that stuff.
Danilo Gallinari?
No, I'm going to be the first one to say it before you get a chance to.
Okay.
I'm going to say that an interesting play is Dylan Windler.
Okay.
I actually think, like, if you want to take a long shot guy who no one's going to play in the same, we have Bembry who did nothing in the minutes, McDaniels. Dylan Windler should get some minutes tonight, and he's pretty active when he's out there. I'm kind of into it.
He definitely is active.
Yeah, another guy who I like is Patrick Williams on the Chicago run back. I forgot to mention him. But I think that he's an interesting play on the other side of that game. The problem I'm running into with playing like Steph Curry on DraftKings is I love Morant, Van Vliet, and Chris Paul a lot. So it doesn't leave any position for him because I want to play two centers in almost every lineup.
Let me change this. I'm playing a decent. I'm playing a fair amount of Birch.
Good.
Yeah, I'm going to play a fair amount of Birch. Again.
I don't think you want to go crazy with it. I just think that he's like definitely
fair.
He's one of the guys who makes a lot of sense.
Just a fair amount of it. To answer somebody had a question about Josh Hart. I only bring it up because I do have him in one of my FanDuel lineups. So I guess it can't be that horrible. It's possible though. Okay. Thank you, Eric, for bringing it up because Bazemore, I kept forgetting to bring him up. He played like a zillion minutes in the last game. I have no idea what to do with that. I mean, I can't imagine those minutes are.
No, so Draymond was out. Bazemore is the Bazemore. This is what he does. I'm going to baze less personally myself tonight. Others will baze more. I will baze less. I'm not in love with this. I just think there's other guys I'd rather speculate on. I really like the way that he plays and he's active and this game could go his way, but there's just so many other things later that we don't even know about things that are going to happen after lock. Like there's so many things that could happen.
Robert, I actually do have a great amount of interest in Kemba. He's one of my top plays on at point guard on FanDuel. And I thank you for reminding me of that because now I want to get some. Let me see. Let me just see something. Yeah, I definitely like Kemba today.
Yeah.
And we don't have any news on Conley or any crap like that coming out of.
Was that?
You won't have any stuff coming out of.
I mean, my thinking is like they've destroyed every single team since he's been hurt. maybe they don't play him as much. Like
Dylan Brooks is out, according to James Carpenter.
that's interesting. Let's wait on that one because I want to see what the projection is.
I was wondering because I actually got forced into a Bane lineup in one of my crunches.
I like Bane. I like Bane actually.
Yeah.
For no reasons. He wasn't out for anything else. The problem is Melton and Bane are back.
Okay.
And Jones is back. And we saw Brooks a million times and all these other guys a million times not put up huge things without Ja, without Melton.
Right.
That's my only issue with that. I do need more Birch in my life. That was a little reminder, a little note that told me that. No, I'm just kidding. Boy, oh boy, there's some really, really good center plays today. I don't have time to answer any more questions, guys, unfortunately, because I need to get these lineups done. I really like that combination.
And if you guys really want to root for something tonight, root for Sam Mayer.
What's up with Sam Mayer?
I've Sam Mayer locked in.
I don't know what that is.
Exactly.
What is it?
In the NASCAR Truck Series race tonight.
Oh my God, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Hey.
I currently have like Rubio in one of my big ones on FanDuel.
Okay.
Dude, I don't like this freaking lineup. I was gonna mess with it. Maybe I will a little bit. It's basically a Toronto stack. It's a game stack, is what it is. It's pretty simple. It's a Toronto Minnesota stack. I have Rubio and Towns, and I don't really need to do anything else. I can just play Rubio and Towns, play Van Vliet with Siakam and Powell. And I also want to point out, so Toronto has been horrible on back-to-backs this year. They've been like the worst team in the NBA. Do with that what you will. Like, I don't know what to say about it exactly, but that actually makes me feel good about this game more than anything. That's where I'm at, I guess, with it. Towns feels so. I love it though. I mean, this is me, Sheets. This is what I want to do. I want to play the thin Towns play. I really just feel like at some point we make a fortune off this play. And you know what? You were kind of right on the back-to-back. I was a little nervous. I mean, he did get the overtime run, so that helped. But still, like, I don't know. I just think I'm into it. I guess nothing needs to be said.
This is really fast.
JaMychal Green is a guy I still like for a spend down on DraftKings.
Oh, I thought you were about to say JaMychal Green. I thought you were about to say JaMychal Green is out.
No.
This is fun. Hold on. 658.
Oh. Patrick Williams is a really, like, he shouldn't be sneaky, but he is tonight on FanDuel and on both sides. What just happened? Sean McDermott added with a 10-point projection? What happened here? I can fix this one a little later here. God, I don't really love the small forward position on certain spots on.
All right, guys. My my chow is calling. I will. You guys want to still answer questions, Bobby, in chat? You feel free to do that.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't catch this, I did drop an MMA thing in the Discord, and good luck everyone tonight as well. And yeah, good luck everybody.
Yeah, good luck. Hope you all crush it.